I'm Laura Bonnell, and this is the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast coming to you from Detroit. Please subscribe and even rate and comment on our podcasts when it moves you. I learn something new with every podcast, and I'm always inspired by the people that are showcased here. We don't give medical advice. You need to connect with your doctor for that. I hope that this Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast educates you and sparks some volunteering or advocacy. The CF community needs people like you. Thanks to our sponsors, Viatris and Vertex, for their support. So I have known Becky for a while in the CF community. She used to run Miles for Cystic Fibrosis and then merged the nonprofit with Brian Callanan's nonprofit, which is CF Life Fitness. And that merged and is now called BreatheStrong CF. And Becky is the executive director for that. And she is actually not joining us today, but Shawna Gray is joining us, and she is the Director of Operations and Programs, and we are happy to have her. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the race director for BreatheStrong CF's annual Big Peach Sizzler, which is a 10 and a 5K, and she's been working to support the CF community since 2022, when she joined the Miles for Cystic Fibrosis team as the development director. And Shawna's nonprofit engagement began in college through volunteerism and logically progressed into her professional career. And outside of work, Shawna enjoys being present for her family, which is her husband, 2 stepchildren, and a rescue dog. And we just recently got to meet in person. So you're going to love her as much as I do, and she is very funny. So we had a good time. So welcome, Shawna. It's so wonderful to see your face again since we met in person. It's been too long already, and now it's freezing here in Michigan. But how are you?
I am good, Laura. Thank you so much for inviting me on to your podcast. I'm excited to have some time to hang out with you.
Thanks. And tell us where you're living. What state are you in, and what's the temperature there?
Sure. So I am based northeast of Atlanta. I'm in Georgia, just a little bit outside of Atlanta. And we are in a cold snap, so we're only about a high of 45 or 50 today, but it'll be coming back. So we've got great weather.
Oh, that is wonderful.
If it gets cold, it's only there for a day or two, and then it's gone. So
okay, great. I think it's 9 here today, so
we don't see 9.
BreatheStrong for CF is wonderful. Like I said in the introduction, I know Becky, and then I met you, and I must say you have a lot of energy and great personality. So why, tell us a little bit about what brought you to this point, and did you know anyone in cystic fibrosis, in the cystic fibrosis community, before you got started?
So I was coming out of a personal hiatus, taking care of some stuff personally. My family needed me more than the workforce did. So I was coming out of that, and I had met Becky at a Georgia Center for Nonprofit annual report class, how to write your annual report. And the nonprofit I had worked with previously had engaged in what was Miles for Cystic Fibrosis's annual fundraising event, the Big Peach Sizzler. So I knew Becky. I knew their event, but I wasn't ultimately familiar with cystic fibrosis. But I knew what Becky was doing was good work, and the program was growing. And so we connected, and she brought me on board. So that was 2022, about 2.5 years ago. I've been with Miles for CF, which is now morphed into BreatheStrong CF.
How lucky are we, honestly? It was just been so fun getting to know you. And I'm interested too, because a big part of it is like when you're just getting into the cystic fibrosis community, just a couple of years ago, and we've already had, these wonderful CF modulators coming out. You're coming into it during an exciting time. What have you learned in the past couple of years about the community? And then we've just all overwhelmed you with CF this and CF that. I'm just wondering, since you're so new to the community, what takeaways you have.
Yeah, I am new to the community. And some of the things I've learned that I remind my friends, and as I'm talking, like, what do? I work with the CF community. What is that? Now there's only 40,000 people in the world, in the United States, with cystic fibrosis. And while folks with CF are thriving, you can't see it. You don't see it on their face. It's invisible. So the amount of things I have learned about and from the cystic fibrosis community, we cannot cover in your podcast, because I have learned so much about the evolution of the treatment of the disease, of everything about it. I am by no means an expert. My background is grant writing and programming and putting on events. But I've learned the CF community has been so welcoming and so embracing. And meeting you and the others at NACFC was just so much fun and so exciting, and just really gave me this, like, I don't even know how to describe it, this shot of energy of, all right, let's go. Like, everybody was just so incredibly enthusiastic. And yeah, like you said, in the past 2.5 years that I've been intimately in the cystic fibrosis community, so much has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so exciting to be like, oh, your average life expectancy isn't 26, it's 46, unless you're born today, and then it might be 66. That's so exciting.
Things have changed so quickly, and as we speak, another CF modulator has been introduced that's, instead of twice a day, it will be once a day. So that's so exciting. And you've got to meet scientists, and it gives you a whole new perspective, doesn't it?
I got to meet people that are so much smarter than me. I am just like, I can't talk to you. Like, I don't. But yeah, so literally, I'm scrolling Instagram right before I pop in with you, and I just saw that one of the other a new modulator that I am not versed enough to speak on, but is hey, this looks like it's going to be approved. Well, dang, all right. So everything is just, it's moving so fast, and it's exciting, especially because the more I'm in the community, the more I get to meet people with CF, and the more it's like, I always wish them well, but now, like, they're friends of mine.
Right. Now we're
they're
like
friends. I came into the community with truly no direct CF connection. But now I have CF connection. I have friends. I have friends whose children have CF. I have friends who have CF. I have coworkers that have CF.
It's so wonderful. And that you have a new perspective. Like, you're bringing new life into BreatheStrong CF and to the community. And I do want to get to that, because that is why we're, having this podcast.
That's why we're hanging out today, right?
I forgot. Like, I thought we were just hanging out. But tell us about, what BreatheStrong CF, kind of an overview of what you're doing now, and then we can get into programs.
Yeah, sure. So BreatheStrong CF provides direct support to those living with cystic fibrosis. You and I are in this advocacy network, and we talked about knowing our lanes. And there are so many people out there doing such an amazing job with research. That's not our lane. We do direct support because we know that 1/3 of the cystic fibrosis population is barely making ends meet, or they're not making their ends meet. And we know 1 in 4 families and people with cystic fibrosis in the community faces food insecurity. That number's way too high. It's way too high. How do we fight a chronic disease if we're worried about paying bills, right? So BreatheStrong CF does direct support, and we do that. Are we ready for this? You want me to?
Yes.
All right.
Drum roll. Do you need a drum roll? There you go.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
And I didn't even screw up my camera. So we do that. Our lane, our role in the CF community right now, have with our roots of Miles for CF in Georgia, we have a program called the Susan C. Burroughs Critical Needs Initiative. And that is a local program to Georgia where we can do some grocery or gasoline assistance through gift cards, $200 an instant. It comes through their social worker, and there's a cap on that. But we have that support locally in Georgia. And then when hurricanes Helene and Milton swung through and kind of beat up the Southeast, we did expand that program temporarily to South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida. So we extended that because we needed to do that, right? Like, while the program is focused in Georgia, we needed to help.
And you helped. Like, this is also what I love about everything that we do. I reached out to Becky and I said, hey, I've got a mom who needs groceries, and you were able to help her.
Yeah.
So that is what I love about how connected we are and not competitive, and how can we help? How can we work together? So I love that. So
if
your
the
program
goal is
has
quality of life, right? If the goal is quality of life and having the best life, then that's what we do. We collaborate, we work together, because we might overlap in small sections, but it's about the mission, right? It's a mission of quality of life for folks with cystic fibrosis.
And what do you hear from those people that you've helped with groceries? What's the feedback you get?
They're always so grateful. Listen, the cystic fibrosis families are no different than anybody else. Nobody wants to ask for a handout or admit that they need a handout. But sometimes people need a hand up. They need a break. They just need to be able to put food on the table. They need to be able to swing through Walmart and get fresh fruits and get the vegetables and get the things they need to live a healthy life. I mean, there's healthy living without chronic disease, and then there's healthy living with chronic disease. And that is a layer of difficulty that I personally can't imagine. Right? So if we can remove that one layer, even if it's just for 1 month, we've given an emotional reprieve to a family who's trying to make sure their kids stay healthy.
And I was just looking too, the name of the program I can't remember, and I can't find it in my notes, but it's the Sizzler one.
Okay, so that is our annual awareness and fundraising event. But I'm going to back up. I want to talk about the program that is national, that we reach out. So back in 2023, the cystic fibrosis, I do need to tell you, Laura, I had speech as a kid for S's.
Uh-huh.
So cystic fibrosis, it's hard. So,
well, that's how they started 65 Roses. Did you hear that story?
I love that story because I feel it in my core. I am not in elementary school anymore, but I do remember speech for S's and R's. And I have to originally I'm a Yankee. I'm from up north. And so I talk too fast, right? Especially when I'm excited. And I'm like, I have to put, anyway.
It's funny. And I just have to tell everyone, you're so darn funny. I would say you're holding back on your sarcasm and your funniness, but
I promised Becky I would represent well. So I'm trying to wear my professional hat and speak eloquently and not be a soundbite for you guys or anybody else.
You're great.
Always my goal.
Carry on.
Okay, so we talked about Critical Needs, which is a Georgia-based program. It is local. We have conversations about how we could reach out. That's another podcast. But if we have a social worker listening who is interested in getting some support to their care center, they should reach out to us. In or out of Georgia.
Yeah, they're the best.
They are so amazing. The work that they do is just, how do we make your life easier because you're doing so much?
Right.
The other big program we run is the exercise grant. And our exercise grant, again, Miles for Cystic Fibrosis used to be a Georgia-based, Atlanta-based organization, and we supported in the Southeast, mostly Georgia, a little bit around. And then in 2023, we were approached by Brian Callanan and the Cystic Fibrosis Lifestyle Foundation with, hey, you guys want to get together? Blah, blah, blah. Long story, lots of work, but we merged with the Cystic Fibrosis Lifestyle Foundation, and we emerged out of, and I told you I had problems saying S's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miles for Cystic Fibrosis in partnership with the Cystic Fibrosis Lifestyle Foundation. We did that for 12 months, Laura. That was not fun. That was a lot for me.
Much work.
So much effort. But so what we did do is we emerged as BreatheStrong CF, and it is so fitting. We want to breathe stronger. We want everyone to breathe stronger. And so we have these exercise grants, and that is now a national program, all 50 states, and we even have some touches in Canada that we can support. And it's an exercise grant because we know exercise is good for everyone. We know this. I mean,
Right.
Jane Fonda in the 80s, let's jazzercise, right? Like, we know this.
Right.
This is not new. But for folks with CF, it can be even further mental health. It is lung clearance without being at home. Like, all of it is just so much. It's part of their treatment plan, their care plan.
It is. And, it rubbed off on me. First of all, a couple things. I love the program. I refer people to that program all the time. It's so wonderful and helps so many people. I mean, people can get gym shoes from Emily Schaller, Rock
Right.
CF, and then we send them to you. It's just a win-win for everybody.
And we can get them to the gym. Take Emily's gym shoes and put them in the gym.
Exactly. Well, both my daughters, as you know, have CF, and so they're working out to stay healthy. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to work out to stay healthy. So I'm just saying that it's all inspired me as well to go to the gym. It's so good for your mental health. So I just think you're changing everyone's mental health and physical health, and I love the program, and I want to hear more about it and how people can access it. Everything is in show notes, of course, but kind of what you hear from people once they get going.
It's life-changing, right? We talked about that. I mentioned that 1/3 of the CF population having financial hardships. So, your neighbor might tell your kid, hey, you can't do travel soccer. It's not in the budget this year. We don't have that discretionary income. But folks with CF, more than the fair share, don't have discretionary income. And again, this activity is so crucial. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the trampoline. It's so much more fun to go out as a family and jump around and get our lungs cleared and make sure that they're getting their activity in, right? Through this. Thank you for contributing to travel soccer dues. They play 4 days a week. They're outside running around, socializing, getting their lungs moving.
Yes, and you may not know this yet because, like we've said, you're just new to this, but my girls, when they had their vests to clear their lungs, we had to plug those babies into the wall and you weren't going anywhere. But now they're battery packed, and those vests, they could then go to the gym with those and do double the work on clearance.
So can I talk about our partnership with those cordless vests?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so we have our exercise grants. I've moved to a quarterly grant application. Show notes, I'm sure, but www.BreatheStrongCF.org and go look at our grants and our programs. You'll see how to apply. We partner with What's Your Gap, and we do a What's Your Gap once a year for $1,000 for teens and adults.
So it's once a year for the gym membership, you're saying?
Once a year for an exercise grant.
Okay.
You can apply once a year right now. That's our plan. So,
and it's $1,000?
It's $750 right now for our exercise grant. And then in spring, we partner with the What's Your Gap Foundation and provide the What's Your Gap grant. And that can be beyond exercise. We had someone do art lessons. We had someone request a camera because they've gotten into photography. Again, what is your gap to thriving with cystic fibrosis, right? So maybe it is a gym membership. Maybe it is a Bowflex. Maybe it's art lessons. Honestly, we had a mom come in and ask for massage therapy because I am raising kids and I'm working and I am stressed. And my gap is self-care. And this is what I want. So those are also once a year in a much shorter window to apply. But we have this ongoing program called BreatheStrong Plus. On our website, www.breathestrongcf.org, under programs, you'll see BreatheStrong Plus Virtual Wellness. And we encourage folks to join. It's free for anyone with cystic fibrosis to track their steps, track their movement, track their activities. We send out t-shirts, we've sent out stretch bands, we've done competition. We wrapped up December with a bingo challenge, and we sent out a hydration belt, a reflective vest, exercise dice to keep it interesting. Throw the dice and do what it says. And now in January, we're in the middle of a Move for Minutes challenge where we're just encouraging everyone with CF or without to get 1,000 minutes of movement in the month, right? So we're doing that. But this is what I was alluding to.
Okay.
For our active participants in BreatheStrong Plus, we have an AffloVest partnership with Tactile Medical to give out 1 AffloVest per quarter. So we are able to give out 1 AffloVest 4 times a year to someone who applies and is awarded. We have given them out to a young boy named James who he's just Tigger, man. He doesn't stop. And he was all over the place with his vest playing football in the front yard. And a teacher who's like, I can bring this to school. And a mom who's also a teacher who I can be part of getting my child ready for school now because I can be doing my treatment while I'm doing this. I can take her outside to play because I can be doing my treatment because I'm cordless. So yeah, that's another reason to get engaged with our BreatheStrong Plus program is we have this partnership with where we give them out 4 times a year.
That is fantastic. So I have questions, but I love it. It's exciting. And so is that for adults and children?
Yep.
How do you make that decision? That must be really, really hard.
It is. Some of it we look for engagement. We want someone who's using the program, right? Who's using BreatheStrong Plus, who's being active, who's being part of our community. We have a couple people we run the decision by, and it is hard, but we've yet to make a wrong choice, right? We've yet to make a wrong choice. We get to know these people. We get to take some video. We get to share their story. And you just see the immediate changes of being able to be loyal to their treatment. Like you said, your daughters had to come in and be plugged to a wall.
It was so awful. I mean, I'd say they liked the PFTs, the, physical therapy more when they were younger than being plugged in. And you couldn't, it wasn't portable. It weighed a ton. You couldn't take it we did take it to grandma's, but it was just.
Well, you had to take it to grandma's because you didn't have a choice, but it sure as heck wasn't easy to do, right?
Right. So very exciting. So again, the response must be great. Or do you feel like there are still a lot of people who don't know about the program?
There are still a lot of people who don't know about the program. I would love to tell you we get 100 applications a quarter and we have to fight through them. We don't. We get a good number, but I think more people don't know about the program. I think there's some folks out there that know what's available and they use it all, and there's folks that just don't know. So trying to spend time connecting with folks like you who can share what we do, right? And social workers, and hey, do you know this exists? Do you know this is an option? Because it isn't just about just getting the exercise grant. That's awesome.
Right.
But now what are we doing with it, right? Like, let's compete. I love a good competition. Like, no. I will get more steps than you. If this is game on.
I like it. I like it.
I will walk back and forth in the office, in the bedroom at night because I'm at 9,700 steps. And I need to get another 300 to get to 10,000 for the day. It's like,
that's so funny.
Literally walking laps.
I compete in my head against people working out next to me. I don't tell them, but I'm always like, I'm going faster than you. I'm going to go faster.
I used to be a distance runner and a distance triathlete. And if somebody ran past me outside, they're not going as far as I am. They're not doing it.
It's so wonderful because all these CF kids and parents it's about personal growth, right? It's about your personal best.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about being competitive and we are funny, but for all our CFers, it's whatever, and for all of us, it is what our personal best is, right? And just feeling better and being able to get stronger.
Being able to be strong enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm not just going to walk. So you asked about Sizzler. I'm going to loop us in, right?
Okay.
So you asked about Big Peach Sizzler, and that is BreatheStrong CF's annual flagship awareness and fundraising campaign. Bonal Foundation has a beautiful gala. We do a road race, right? That is our steps right now. We focus on activity and exercise. So a road race makes sense. We do a 10K and a 5K. We invite CFers. We're all outside. We take reasonable precautions to make sure everybody's in their comfort zone. But we run a 5K and 10K. We had almost 2,000 participants this year.
Wow.
We had someone say, I ran my first 5K. I've been out here before, but I always walk. I just walk it. I ran it. I ran a 5K, right? And that's the new attitude. That's the new perception of nothing is beyond my ability at this point. It might take me a little longer to get there, but I can take the step by step and get to this end goal. And I think it's incredible and it's amazing.
That is, and it must make you all feel so wonderful about all of your programs, because I know when I get a nice note from somebody who said, oh my gosh, we can now financially get through the month because of your financial assistance, it's like, oh my gosh, it's such therapy for me. I feel better. It beats anything else to help people.
We had a woman reach out and she's like, I got sick. I needed a second lung transplant. Oh my gosh, that's scary, right?
Right.
But I feel like I went through it so well because I'd been doing Pilates thanks to this grant. And I went into the situation so strong that it made my recovery so much easy. Easy from a transplant is not the right word to use, right? But she believed that going into the situation so strong is what enabled her to come out of it so strong. And those stories, right? Like those stories of normalcy for the little guys that are playing their sports, like normalcy, which is what every parent of a child with either a disability or chronic disease just wants, is normalcy for their child. And the adults who are like, yeah, because of this because you pay for my gym membership, it actually guilts me into going. I can't throw away somebody else's money. So
Right.
I go to the gym 4 days a week because you pay for it. We'll take it. We'll take the guilt.
Right. And plus they are seeing the improvement. They are seeing that they are getting better. And so I'm sure they're seeing the payoff physically as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We had a gentleman come in and he's been doing Barry's boot camp and he's crushing it. Like his before and after pictures and his wants to be able to do things and his ability to do things. He was going to run a half marathon and he ended up not starting the half marathon, but it wasn't his CF, it was his knees. And that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Anybody who's trained for a distance event understands that sometimes your body says, not today.
Those darn knees. Yeah.
Knees.
I mean,
mine was my hip. I'm not going to lie. It was my hip. But yeah, but it wasn't CF that took him. It wasn't CF that kept him from starting.
Yeah, which is good, except then you think about it, they have to deal with all the CF and then all the regular stuff that we all have to deal with, the body aches, the knee or the hip or the whatever it is. But, now that we're in 2025 and, you have all these programs, what are you kind of hoping for this year as far as growth and raising awareness about all your programs?
There's times that we feel like we're a best kept secret, so we don't need to be so secret anymore. We have the same goal every nonprofit has. We want to be able to say yes to anyone who asks, right? So far we've been there. At the end of November, sorry, I don't have my December numbers yet. At the end of November, we had given out 411 exercise grants.
Fantastic.
So about $250,000 worth of activity fees, exercise equipment, etc. So we'd love to raise that number, presuming we can get the funds in, right? If we have the funds, we're going to raise that number. So we want to raise our exercise grants. We want to raise engagement in BreatheStrong Plus. We want more people saying, I'm over here, I'm working out, and I want you to know it, right? And we want the community to know it. We want them to be able to share their accomplishments with others in the community, because for some folks, it's pulling off 30 minutes of yoga, and others, it's a 15-mile run. It's different. But again, you talked about those personal bests. So our personal bests. I actually did 30 minutes of yoga. Hey, man, that's great. You got out of bed, out of your chair, and did yoga. You walked for 20 minutes. That's fantastic. She ran for 30 minutes. That's awesome, right? So just giving everyone a spot through BreatheStrong Plus to gather virtually and encourage each other and support each other. I think we're all just looking for constant growth and support. We want to be able to say yes when somebody asks for help. And we want to continue building that community. And then if we have a chance, we have one other program because we do focus on health and wellness not just being physical. We run a men's sexual and reproductive health seminars. We do about 5 a year for adult males with CF 18 plus.
That's great.
Let's talk about something that wasn't talked about. If you have a child diagnosed with CF and you're told they're only going to live until they're 18, you're not talking about reproduction and family, right?
Right.
We're not there anymore. We're now into dating and reproduction and family planning and all of that. And there's questions that aren't being addressed because a lot of the pulmonologists were pediatric pulmonologists, and they're not talking about reproduction and how that works or doesn't work if you're a male with CF.
And I have to say, I sat in until I couldn't sit in on it any longer, but I was interested in the program, and it was great to see that men, had signed into the program. And I think explain it a little bit more, but I'm really excited about it in the same sense. Like I've been telling doctors, CF doctors, you need to start talking about menopause to these women who are now going to go through menopause thanks to these new drugs.
Yeah. Who knew that was going to happen either 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So there's things. When I'm talking to people and I'm trying to very basically explain the changes, I was like, it used to be when you had a child with CF, it was if you grow up. Mm-hmm. What do you want to be if you grow up? And it was an if, and do we need to really focus on this? And now it's, what are you going to do when you grow up and leave my house? You are going to grow up. You need to be a functioning adult, taking care of yourself in all the ways. So it changes the thought process, right? But one of those is we've had seminars on difficult conversations. You're CF male and you're sterile. How do you tell your girlfriend that you're getting serious with? Again, heterosexual relationship. If you want to talk about reproducing, we need to do IVF or there's other means because I have a chronic disease. I have cystic fibrosis, and we can't do it naturally. I am not a urologist, and I am not a scientist. So my sharing right now is my little disclaimer is just some of the topics we've covered.
And I just wanted to say, and it is because you're new in this, that it's not sterile, it's infertile.
Thank you. And thank you for that correction, right?
Yes, I appreciate corrections as well.
And I am always learning. And that was, when I met you guys in Boston, it was my brain exploded with the knowledge I gained. So thank you. So they're infertile. Now we have ways to get around that.
Yes. And it's exciting.
But you need to know about it. And you need to know to ask the questions. And then you have to have the difficult conversation, potentially difficult conversation with your significant other, if that's what we're talking about, right? We talk about that. We bring in experts to talk about low testosterone and what does that mean and how to manage that. Healthy living, period. Not just eating. Our session in January, it was about not just eating your fruits and vegetables and counting your steps, but what else can you do for overall wellness, for overall health, which impacts overall sexual health. But so it's these conversations that aren't being addressed. It's what do you need to talk to your doctor about? And also talking to doctors, what do you need to be talking about? We've got grown adults that need to be discussing adult topics.
And that, like you said, may not know about it and may be as confused as, as anyone, I guess. But I just think that information will just help ease their mind and everything. And I actually have an idea for you. Maybe you've already done it, but can you connect with a Boomer Esiason Foundation? You give the classes, they give the grants for IVF.
We reached out in December. We know December is a crazy time. So we have actually reached out to them about doing a partnership to talk about the services that the grants that they offer, the knowledge they have, the Boomer, I think it's the BEF family account that they're sharing information on. Our program is spearheaded and came in with Georgia Brown, who is an adult woman with CF. And she was with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Lifestyle Foundation. And so this is her project. And I'm just here helping her look as good as she is, right?
That's so exciting because it's a beautiful fit. It's perfect. It's so perfect. It has to happen. We're just going to visualize that and put it out there.
She has reached out and said, hey, do you guys want to present? Do you want to come in? Can you help us grow? All of that stuff, because somebody has to have the conversation.
Again, we talk about visibility like we all think, because we're working so hard. Shawna, you're working hard. I'm working hard. Oh my gosh. Social media, I go on and I'm like tweet, text, like LinkedIn this and Instagram that. And now there's Blue Sky and Thread and your head's going to pop off. You're just trying to get everything out there. And then I'll meet a social worker who says, oh my gosh, I've never heard of your foundation. And I'm like, how can that be? I've worked so hard.
Hard to be known, and you're like, who are you?
I know. Well, then, actually, somebody sent a woman to me who said, hey, I hear you do the IVF grants. And I was like, oh, actually, that's Boomer Esiason. And I sent her to them, and they got a grant to start IVF, a late diagnosis man. And it's just a beautiful story. So I think all of us, just as we keep saying, oh, no, that's not us, go here. And making
collaboration is key.
Yes.
Collaboration, sharing the message. And the Boomer Esiason Foundation has been so amazing to work with. I got to meet some of their staff and their CEO at the conference also, which was just like, meeting you was a little awestruck. I'm walking in, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Laura Bynell from the Bynell Foundation. That's Siri. Oh my gosh, that's Emma. Oh, I'm going to just sit back here and eat my appetizer. I was just watching this brain trust function. It was incredible. But yeah, no, the Esiason Foundation has been absolutely incredible.
Esiason. That's okay.
Gosh darn it. We need some copy edit here, because my husband's like, if you're going to work with the foundation, you have to be able to pronounce the name.
No, you know what? When we make corrections, then people remember. So it's a good thing, actually.
So I'm going to tap out and say the BEF, the Boomer Foundation.
Like it. We like acronyms. Yeah. BEF, Boomer Esiason Foundation. What? Yeah. No one will forget Foundation. Now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying, Laura. And sometimes I try my own patience, but I'm trying.
You're doing great. We're going to wrap up in a minute, but finish what you were going to say, and then I just want to get
I was just going to say the Boomer Foundation is phenomenal, and what they're sharing and how their support and their information and their staff and their mission and all of it is just so incredible and so supportive of everyone in the CF community. Like, no, we have absolutely reached out and asked, because we'll finish up on the MSRH part. Men in general, sometimes I'm going to pick on men. Can I pick on men for a minute?
Yeah, go right ahead. We'll see how it goes.
I think sometimes when men know that they're infertile, they forget that raincoats are helpful for other things. And that's becoming a topic that needs to be addressed.
I'm confused, but
if you're infertile, you become intimate with a female partner, you can't get her pregnant, but you can transfer STIs.
Oh, yes. Good point. Got it. So that's part of the class, is talking about the fact of being responsible. This isn't...
We're trying to add that as a fifth session later in 2025.
Okay.
Because it is coming out in more and more research that information needs to be shared.
Yeah, that's really important, and it's the same for women. If you have an IUD, you're not protected in the same way. Yeah.
Right.
No, really good point. Sorry, I was slow to to the getting it there.
I went wide, man. I went really wide. I didn't know if this was a family show. I wanted to be polite, but
no, you can actually swear.
Oh,
so
damn, that's awesome. I was pulling back. I didn't want to go full Jersey. So, no, but men with CF who are infertile still need to wear condoms and be aware of STIs, sexually transmitted infections, because it doesn't protect you got to protect your general wellness and health beyond just your CF health, right?
Right. And you don't want to add one more infection or situation to your CF health.
To your situationship, right?
Yeah, right.
But so we currently have four programs on the books, calendar scheduled to be run. And we're hoping to do a fifth about STIs, because it's, again, you have adults with CF that need to discuss adult topics.
Yeah. I love it. Is there anything before we wrap up that we should say, hey, we forgot to discuss this? Or are we good? Did we do a fabulous job and we
could just come back and do this again in a few months.
That sounds great. We'll talk more about the men's program and how things are going, and hopefully your partnership with BEF and everything. So, yeah.
BEF was great last year. They provided us a grant to support our critical needs initiative in Georgia. So they were really great. So we have asked, and I'm sure if they're able to, they will, but we've asked for some support with our men's sexual and reproductive health program. I know they love to say yes when it aligns, when it works, and when they can. So I have great hope, and hopefully they will. And if they don't, I know there's a reason. Because they're just so fantastic about supporting others in the community.
They are. They gave us a grant for our mentoring program, so we're very thankful to them for that as well. Well, first podcast, girl, you did a great job, and
thank you.
It was so wonderful to have you. And yeah, we'll definitely do more. And I would have to say, Becky will be proud. I don't think she's gonna say, "Oh my gosh." You
said what?
Right?
Shawna, you can't say that when our brand is under your name. Yeah, my bad. No, it was so much fun, and I would love to come visit everybody in Michigan, but it will not be during the winter. I've been in the South for 20-some years. And y'all are welcome to Atlanta in December and January anytime you want.
Well, thank you. It might happen. We'll see.
Loved hanging out. Thank you for letting me come on and chat. BreatheStrong CF is just we have a new look, same mission. We are trying to be there and just help folks get off the couch, get moving, and reduce that financial barrier to the activity we know these kids and adults need. But if you got to choose between the electricity and the gym membership, you got to go electricity. So come to us. We'll help with the gym membership.
Fantastic. I like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will talk again soon.
I can't. What nobody knows is that we actually exchanged crafting tips before we did this.
I know. And it's very impressive. And that's a whole nother podcast.
Podcast.
Yes. So stay tuned on that end.
Granny Square's next.
The original music in this podcast is performed by Kevin Allen.
It's not complicated.
Who happens to have cystic fibrosis.
We all got our worries and fears. I know it's got you frustrated, but loving you is so alright.
This has been the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast. For more information and to learn more about the Bonnell Foundation, visit our website at thebonnellfoundation.org. That's the BONNELL Foundation.org. This podcast was sponsored by Vertex Pharmaceutical, The Science of Possibility, and Viatris. It was produced by Jag and Detroit Podcasts. Follow our show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now.